This man loved a rich woman, but he was just a poor motorbike driver struggling to survive every day. Her mother never approved of their relationship. She looked down on him, insulted him for being poor, and forced her daughter to leave him, knowing he had nothing. And believing she deserved a better life, he made the most painful decision, to walk away from the woman he loved so she could be happy. But after some time, she met a rich man in college and started dating him. And when the motorbike driver saw it with his own eyes, his heart shattered into pieces. What did he do next? Did he give up or fight for his love? Watch the full story. The story opens at an all-girls dorm. The owner, Ms. Jamin, and her son Sky are arguing about how to get more tenants. Sky suggests using trendy social media gimmicks, so he creates a rap video to promote the dorm. Ms. Jamin is skeptical but funds the video anyway. Surprisingly, the crazy plan works. The next day, 4 girls show up to rent rooms. First is Sunday, a paranoid, pessimistic rich girl with major trust issues and a hidden trauma. Next is Duchess, a Thai Chinese girl who went from rags to riches and now sells imported clothes. Finally, there's View Viva, a famous actress. Sky is completely shocked as to why a huge celebrity would want to live in their dorm. After securing her room, Sunday meets her older brother Sunny outside. Sunday is a spoiled rich kid moving away from home for the very first time. Sunny is super worried she can't survive on her own. He tells her to call him anytime, study hard, and absolutely no sneaking out or getting into trouble. Sunday tells him to stop worrying and just focus on his job. She confidently promises to be fully independent and not cause him any more trouble. That night, Sunday writes in her diary. She vents about moving out and living in a dorm for the first time. As a hardcore introvert, journaling is her only safe space to process her deep anxieties and fears about starting college life. The next morning, Sunday heads to college for her first day as a freshman. She is immediately thrown into a toxic freshman orientation. The seniors heavily haze the newbies with totally unreasonable tasks. Their main mission: collect signatures from the senior students. For an introvert like Sunday, this is an absolute nightmare. She easily makes friends with her fellow freshmen, but the seniors demand absurd favors in exchange for their signatures. Being naive, Sunday blindly does whatever they ask. Things get worse when she meets a super mean senior. Sunday is ordered to buy a massive amount of food for the seniors' gang. Struggling to carry all the heavy bags, Sunday trips and falls hard on the street. Suddenly, an engineering student named Mile steps in to help her out. Strangely, being rescued by Mile instantly triggers a massive high school flashback. It reminds her exactly of her first love, Tankun. Back then, Tankun was a rebellious but kind-hearted upperclassman who also came to her rescue when she dropped a bunch of heavy stuff. Back in the present, Mile introduces himself to Sunday. He complains about the toxic hazing at their university. He tells Sunday to stop forcing herself to do unreasonable tasks, as there are plenty of nicer seniors out there. But Sunday is terrified of the consequences. Feeling bad for her, Mile kindly escorts her to face the mean seniors. The seniors teasingly ask if Mile is her boyfriend. Sunday quickly denies it. Knowing she's single, the seniors start harassing her instead. Annoyed, Mile grabs Sunday's hand, smoothly declares they might actually start dating, and drags her away. Once they are safe, Mile apologizes for holding her hand. Sunday tells him not to worry and thanks him for the rescue. After Mile leaves, Sunday's 2 friends immediately ambush her, dying to know how she knows him. Sunday acts completely unfazed and uninterested. Shocked by her flat reaction, her friends drop a massive bombshell. Mile is insanely famous. He is a viral musician and influencer. Sunday is completely stunned, realizing her handsome rescuer is actually the ultimate campus heartthrob. Sunday heads home late that night after orientation. With no friends heading her way, she has to walk alone. Her paranoia kicks in, terrified of muggers and ghosts. Suddenly, she gets another major flashback of Tankun. Back in high school, she was walking home late and scared when Tankun suddenly showed up on his motorcycle to safely escort her. When they arrived, her overprotective brother, Sunny, furiously scolded Tankun, but Sunday boldly stepped up to defend her rescuer. Back to the present, Sunday safely reaches her dorm. There is clearly unfinished business between her and Tankun. The next morning, running super late, Sunday orders a motorcycle taxi. But when the driver arrives, she is absolutely shocked. His helmet looks exactly like Tankun's old helmet. She spots the exact same Sunday sticker Tankun used to have. Since the driver is wearing a mask and helmet, she stays quiet during the ride. Upon arriving at campus, she bravely asks if he is Tankun. The driver stays completely silent. Frustrated, Sunday aggressively pulls down his mask. It really is Tankun. But before they can even talk, her friends drag her away because she is late for orientation, forcing an abrupt separation. Orientation resumes, and Sunday is panicking. She lost her name tag. A mean senior quickly catches her without it and drags her to the front for a brutal scolding. Right before she gets punished, Miles suddenly stands up and loudly confesses he has her name tag. The seniors drag him to the front too, and they are both ordered to face a public punishment. Miles quickly apologizes to Sunday, revealing he found her dropped tag yesterday but totally forgot to return it. To serve their punishment, Miles and Sunday agree to do a hilarious, embarrassing dance in front of everyone. During the break, Miles slyly slips Sunday a piece of paper with his line ID, asking her to text him. Naturally, her friends go absolutely crazy. They insist she must date him, claiming she'd be an absolute fool to reject the guy every girl on campus is dying for. While her friends are freaking out over Miles' line ID, Sunday couldn't care less. Instead, her mind drifts straight back to Tang-kun again. She remembers the very first time Tang-kun aggressively asked for her line ID. She played hard to get and lied about not having one. But Tang-kun completely refused to give up. He shamelessly begged for her phone number or absolutely any way to contact her. His incredibly persistent, relentless flirting eventually melted her heart, and she finally caved in and gave him her number. Back to the present. Orientation finally ends. Sunday wants to go straight home, but her friends decide to hang out at her dorm first. They are completely shocked by how massive and spotless her room is. Suddenly, Sunday opens her bag and completely panics. Miles' name tag is inside. She knows if she doesn't return it today, Miles will definitely be punished again tomorrow. Her friends quickly suggest she just return it tonight. They reveal that Miles performs live music at a local bar every single night. They push Sunday to go with them to the bar to hand it back. Being a paranoid introvert, Sunday is terrified of loud, crowded bars filled with drunk guys, but her friends relentlessly convince her, promising it'll be a fun hangout and they will fiercely protect her from any creeps. Reluctantly, Sunday finally agrees to go. Arriving at the bar, Miles is already on stage performing. Sunday is awkwardly trying to figure out how to return the tag when Miles suddenly calls out her name right from the stage. Instantly, every single pair of eyes in the bar locks onto her. As a hardcore introvert, becoming the center of attention is her absolute worst nightmare. Completely overwhelmed, Sunday completely panics and literally sprints out of the bar. Once outside, her exact fear comes true. A bunch of drunk guys are aggressively fighting near the exit, terrifying her. But just in time, Miles, who rushed off stage to chase her, swoops in, rescues her, and safely escorts her to his car to drive her home. Inside the car, Sunday explains she is an extreme introvert who hates crowds. Confused, Miles asks why she even bothered coming to a loud bar. Sunday bluntly states she only came to return his name tag so he wouldn't get punished. Realizing she actually cares, Miles decides to shoot his shot. He boldly confesses that he intentionally slipped his name tag into her bag just so he would have a solid excuse to see her again. But instead of finding it romantic, Sunday's paranoia violently kicks in. Her extreme trust issues make her violently overthink the situation, instantly labeling Miles as a creepy stalker. Absolutely terrified of his romantic gesture, she immediately demands to be let out of the car. Sunday ends up walking home alone in the dark. Just as her paranoia peaks, a motorcycle taxi pulls up. It's Tang-kun. Her terrifying fear instantly vanishes, replaced by total comfort as he safely drives her back to the dorm. Riding on the back of his bike triggers another massive high school flashback. One afternoon, Tang-kun was dropping her off as usual. Her overprotective brother Sunny immediately tried to kick him out. But before Tang-kun could leave, Sunday's mom came out and aggressively invited him inside. It was a full-blown interrogation to see if he was a good guy. Her mom, a heavy drinker, immediately busted out the alcohol, got drunk, and offered Tang-kun a drink. Polite but firm, Tang-kun refused the alcohol. The drunk mom then grilled him with intense, heavy questions. Does he really love her daughter? What college is he going to? What is his ultimate life plan? Facing the terrifying mother of the girl he loved, Tang-kun was incredibly nervous. Stuttering, he awkwardly confessed his love for Sunday, but honestly admitted he had absolutely no idea what he wanted to study in college. Hearing his hesitant answers, the mom immediately judged Tang-kun as a directionless loser with zero future. The fact that he refused to drink only convinced her that he was just a childish little boy. She bluntly told him to get his life together and figure out a real purpose. Believing he was completely incapable of protecting her daughter, the mom brutally ordered Tang-kun to stay the hell away from Sunday. Back in the present, they finally arrive at the dorm. Before parting ways, Sunday softly asks why he ended up working as a motorcycle taxi driver. Tang-kun honestly explains he desperately needed cash to pay for his dad's medical bills and daily survival. Delivering cat food wasn't paying enough, so he switched to driving a taxi for better money. Remembering how incredibly close she used to be with his sick dad, Sunday warmly asks how he is doing. Tang-kun smiles, saying his dad is hanging in there and actually asks about Sunday all the time, deeply missing the days she used to come over and cook for him. Hearing that his dad still genuinely cares about her completely melts Sunday's heart. Before going to sleep, Sunday opens her old high school diary. She reads an entry from right after her mom brutally kicked Tang-kun out. After that day, Tang-kun completely disappeared, but the longer she went without seeing him, the more she violently missed him. It was her very first time feeling such an incredibly intense, overwhelming crush on a guy. Then one day after school, she finally ran into him again, but Tang-kun sadly said he couldn't walk her home. Assuming he was just terrified of her mom, she was surprised to learn the real reason. His dad was severely ill and he had to rush home to care for him. Without hesitation, Sunday instantly offered to help. Tang-kun brought her to his house, revealing his dad had just suffered a stroke and fallen in the bathroom. Meeting his dad for the first time, Sunday was amazed by how incredibly sweet, funny, and welcoming the old man was. She immediately, happily volunteered to cook dinner for them. After dinner, Tang-kun suddenly got called into work for a cat food delivery. Left alone with his dad, Sunday learned the beautiful truth about the rebellious boy she loved. His dad proudly revealed that Tang-kun is actually an incredibly kind, fiercely hardworking son. Ever since the stroke, Tang-kun had tirelessly cared for him. Not only that, But the teenage boy worked grueling delivery shifts and sold goods at the weekend market just to pay the bills. The dad had begged him to quit working and focus on studying, but Tae-kun stubbornly refused, desperately wanting to save his father. Hearing this incredibly touching story, Sundae was completely blown away by Tae-kun's true character. Before leaving that night, she boldly looked Tae-kun in the eye and sincerely called him a really good guy, leaving the tough bad boy completely flustered and blushing. From that exact moment, Sundae didn't just fall in love with Tae-kun, she completely fell in love with the absolute warmth of his entire family. Back to the present, Sundae oversleeps after spending all night thinking about her past. Luckily, Tae-kun is right there to pick her up and speed her to campus. Upon arriving, they immediately run into Mile. Learning Sundae takes motorcycle taxis, Mile smoothly offers to drive her in his car every day from now on. Taking one look at Mile, Tae-kun instantly knows the guy is crushing on Sundae. Getting violently protective, Tae-kun fires back, telling Mile not to bother because he will personally pick her up every single day. Plus, cars just get stuck in traffic anyway. A hilarious, intense argument breaks out over who deserves to be her personal driver. Tae-kun flexes his history, bragging that despite Mile's fancy car, Sundae has known Tae-kun for years. He proudly declares he knows her brother and has even met her terrifying mother. Sundae quickly steps in to stop the petty bickering. Once Mile leaves, Sundae demands to know why Tae-kun is acting so crazy possessive. Tae-kun simply states he considers her family and must protect her from shady playboys like Mile. Sundae heads to class and is shocked to find Mile is in the exact same room. Panicking over an upcoming exam because her notes are incomplete, Mile smoothly offers his perfectly organized notebook, but he wants a favor in return: her line ID. Playing hard to get, Sundae refuses to give her number. Relentless, Mile demands a different favor instead, and Sundae blindly agrees just to get the notes. After class, Tae-kun is already waiting outside to take her home. Starting to feel suffocated, Sundae sarcastically asks if he's unemployed since he has so much free time to stalk her. Tae-kun casually replies he's just keeping his promise. But before she can hop on his bike, Mile suddenly pulls up in his car. Mile announces he finally knows what favor he wants. He wants Sundae to come with him right now. Trapped by her own promise, Sundae is forced to ditch Tae-kun and get into Mile's car. It turns out Mile just needs help picking out a welcome home gift for his little sister returning from America. Curious, Sundae asks about his family. Opening up, Mile reveals his parents are divorced and have both started new families, leaving him to live alone with his beloved sister. Hearing his vulnerable story, Sundae starts feeling genuinely comfortable around him. They quickly find the perfect gift. To show his gratitude, Mile secretly buys Sundae an adorable deer plushie she had been admiring. Mile then asks about the nickname Tae-kun uses for her. He reveals Tae-kun calls her Little Deer. Sundae explains it's because she gets easily startled and scared of everything, just like a timid deer. Before dropping her off, Mile boldly asks her to attend a campus party tomorrow. Sundae refuses, hating crowds, but Mile fiercely promises to stay by her side and protect her the entire night. The next day, Sundae tells her two friends about her errand with Mile. Naturally, they absolutely freak out. Buying a gift and getting invited to a party? They aggressively declare it's obviously a date, and Mile is totally in love with her. Forced by her overly excited friends, Sundae actually attends the loud party. Mile is the guest star, performing live on stage. Mid-performance, he announces the song is dedicated to the woman he loves, who is currently in the room. Nobody else knows who it is, but Sundae knows exactly what he means. Instantly flustered and blushing furiously, she panics and hides in the bathroom. Her heart is pounding out of her chest. She isn't sure if she actually likes Mile, but she can't deny the massive butterflies in her stomach. Stepping out of the bathroom, Sundae accidentally bumps into Tae-kun's biker gang friends. And shockingly, Tae-kun is right there too. Furious, Tae-kun demands to know what she is doing in a crowded club. Sundae snaps back asking what he is doing at a bar. Tae-kun reveals he works part-time there every night. Right in the middle of their heated argument, Mile suddenly appears. Hearing them argue, Mile finally discovers the shocking truth. Tae-kun is Sundae's ex-boyfriend. Absolute chaos erupts. The two jealous rivals aggressively trade insults until a full-blown fistfight breaks out. But Mile, a sheltered rich kid, is absolutely no match for Tae-kun, a hardened street-smart biker. Tae-kun mercilessly beats Mile to a pulp. Seeing Mile brutally beaten makes Sundae incredibly sympathetic toward him and absolutely furious at Tae-kun. As a result, Mile ends up taking her home. Before leaving her at the dorm, Mile softly admits he knows her heart is still blocked by her ex, but he is fully prepared to wait for her. Before bed, a confused Sundae sits alone, wondering why Tae-kun suddenly reappeared in her life after vanishing for a whole year. Looking at an old deer handkerchief he once gave her, she gets a massive flashback to their dating days. One day, Tae-kun hyped up a dinner date promising to take her somewhere super fancy. Instead, he just took her to his own modest house. Confused, Sundae asked where the fancy part was. Tae-kun smiled, saying the luxury was the amazing people waiting inside and the delicious home-cooked food. Suddenly, his dad and older brother jumped out into the living room, surprising her with a birthday cake. It was her birthday, and Tankhoon gifted her a special matching motorcycle helmet with a cute deer sticker. That day, Sunday was moved to tears, feeling incredibly loved and warmly welcomed by his amazing family. After celebrating her birthday with his incredibly warm family, Tankhoon drives Sunday home on his motorcycle. Arriving at her house, they discover Sunday's mom in the middle of a violent dispute. She is desperately trying to protect her neighbor's wife from being brutally beaten by her abusive husband. The furious husband lashes out and violently slaps Sunday's mom. Instantly jumping in to protect her, Tankhoon tries to fight the guy off. But the enraged husband grabs a glass bottle and violently smashes it right into Tankhoon's head, leaving him bleeding. Luckily, the wound isn't severe. Sunday personally cleans and bandages his head. Despite Tankhoon literally taking a bottle to the head to save her, Sunday's stubborn mom still refuses to accept him, continuing to view him as nothing but a worthless street thug. But for Sunday, that day changes everything. Between the beautiful birthday surprise and him fearlessly protecting her mother, Sunday fully realizes Tankhoon is an incredibly good man. Falling completely in love with him, she finally accepts his confession that very night, and they officially start dating. Back to the present, Sunday writes in her journal. She desperately writes that she wants to completely forget Tankhoon, but her mind relentlessly holds on to their beautiful memories. Meanwhile, Tankhoon vents to his best friend Fa, the dorm security guard. Tankhoon admits Sunday must be absolutely furious with him for brutally beating up Mile the other night. Hearing his lovelorn rant, Fa instantly realizes Tankhoon is still madly in love with his ex. Fa offers the simplest solution. If he doesn't want her to be mad, why doesn't he just apologize? Taking the advice, Tankhoon tracks Sunday down the next day to apologize for his violent outburst. Still confused, Sunday bluntly asks why he always goes to such extreme lengths for her. Tankhoon calmly replies that even though they are no longer dating, he still deeply considers her his little sister, and as her brother, it is his duty to protect her. Getting officially friend-zoned by her own ex leaves Sunday bitterly disappointed, realizing she secretly hoped he still had romantic feelings for her. Sunday heads to class. A group of girls is loudly gossiping about her, having heard the massive rumor that two incredibly hot guys, Mile and Tankhoon, literally got into a fistfight over her last night. The girls are dying of jealousy. Suddenly, Mile walks into the classroom and aggressively scolds the gossiping girls, fiercely defending Sunday in front of everyone. Another flashback reveals the peak of Sunday and Tankhoon's high school romance. Having dated for a few months, they were absolutely inseparable. It was the happiest time of their lives, creating memories that are impossible to erase. One freezing night, they got caught in the pouring rain. Being the ultimate gentleman, Tankhoon draped his jacket over Sunday's shoulders to keep her warm. In that incredibly romantic, freezing moment, they shared their beautiful first kiss, a sweet, unforgettable memory permanently burned into Sunday's heart. Back in the present, Sunday is smiling and daydreaming in class about that exact kiss when Miles suddenly interrupts her thoughts. He sweet-talks her, bringing her a massive pile of snacks to eat during class. He also hands over his perfectly written class notes, completely free of charge this time. But Mile being overly nice and perfect actually makes Sunday feel incredibly uncomfortable. Sensing her hesitation, Mile quickly apologizes if he's coming on too strong. Sunday clarifies that he isn't making her uncomfortable, but honestly admits what he said the other night was absolutely true. She still hasn't moved on from her ex. Despite desperately wanting to forget Tankhoon, she just can't. Hearing her honest confession, Mile flashes a warm, confident smile and smoothly promises to personally help her move on and forget her ex once and for all. Shortly after, Sunday's two friends arrive. They have a massive group presentation due next week. They all agree to work on the project at Miles' apartment over the weekend. The weekend arrives, and the girls are absolutely mind-blown to discover Mile lives in a ridiculously luxurious high-end apartment. As they start working, Mile notices Sunday's hair is getting in her way while writing. Being perfectly attentive, he gently ties her hair back for her. But while he does it, Sunday is completely lost in thought. Miles' relentless perfection makes her feel incredibly guilty, as she still isn't sure if she can ever return his feelings. She knows Mile is technically the perfect guy for her, but the painful reality is that her heart still fully belongs to her ex. Moments later, the food delivery Mile ordered finally arrives. The door opens, and everyone is absolutely paralyzed in shock. The delivery driver is Tankhoon. Instantly, Tankhoon and Miles start aggressively arguing again. Tankhoon furiously calls Mile an idiot who knows absolutely nothing about Sunday. He points out the food Mile ordered is incredibly spicy. Sunday is an extreme picky eater who absolutely cannot handle spicy food. Miles cynically fires back, telling Tankhoon to stop acting like a hero. He brutally reminds Tankhoon that he is absolutely nobody now, just a pathetic ex-boyfriend she is desperately trying to forget. Once again, Sunday takes Miles' side, mostly because Tankhoon started the fight and insulted Mile first. Before Tankhoon leaves, Mile intentionally hands him a massive, humiliatingly large cash tip, just to degrade him. But Tankhoon, desperate for money to survive, completely swallows his pride. Smiling, he accepts the degrading tip and walks away. After Tankhoon leaves, it turns out he was 100% right. Sunday absolutely cannot eat the insanely spicy food Mile ordered. But feeling too guilty to complain, she lies and claims she just isn't hungry right now. Starving a few minutes later, she quietly sneaks out of the apartment to find her own food. Walking into the lobby, she is completely shocked to find Tankun waiting for her. He specifically brought her a custom, non-spicy meal he knew she would love. Mile, having secretly followed her down, furiously interrupts again. He tries to humiliate Tankun by offering him even more cash to leave. Tankun smoothly fires back that if Mile loves throwing his money away to feel superior, he'll gladly keep taking it. After finally eating, Sunday heads back up to Mile's apartment. But absolute disaster strikes. The elevator violently malfunctions, trapping her inside. Triggering her extreme paranoia and claustrophobia, Sunday suffers a massive panic attack, struggling to breathe until she completely passes out. When she finally regains consciousness, Mile and her friends are frantically loading her into a car to rush her to the hospital. But Sunday insists she is fine and just wants to go back to her dorm. Once safely back in her room, her friends drop a massive bombshell. It wasn't Mile who rescued her from the broken elevator. It was Tankun. Hearing her scream, Tankun violently pried the elevator doors open to save her. Not only that, her friends reveal Tankun used the exact degrading tip money Mile gave him to buy her that special non-spicy meal. Hearing all this completely shatters Sunday's resolve. She desperately wants to forget him, but these actions prove Tankun still cares deeply for her. The undeniable fact that Tankun knows her better than anyone else in the world makes it absolutely impossible for her to move on. Later that night, Sunday spots a massive cockroach in her dorm room. The bug suddenly flies and lands directly on her forehead, causing her to scream hysterically. Shockingly, Tankun happens to be hanging out downstairs with Fa, the security guard. Hearing her blood-curdling scream, Tankun instantly sprints upstairs and bursts into her room to save her. After bravely catching and disposing of the bug, Sunday walks back inside and notices Tankun dropped his wallet on the floor. It flips open, and Sunday is absolutely paralyzed by what she sees. Safely tucked inside is their old romantic high school photo booth picture. She immediately sprints out to confront him. For an entire year, Tankun insisted he only saw her as a little sister. Sobbing, Sunday demands to know the truth. Why did he buy her special food? Why did he rip open an elevator to save her? And why the hell is he still carrying their old couple photo? But Tankun stands completely frozen. He is clearly hiding a massive, devastating secret, and is absolutely terrified of telling her the truth. Sunday relentlessly presses him. Has he moved on? Does he still love her, or not? Forced into a corner, Tankun tells the ultimate, agonizing lie. He still only sees her as a sister. Hearing that final rejection, Sunday aggressively wipes her tears and fiercely declares, "Fine, then I will officially open my heart and start dating Mile." Hearing those words absolutely shreds Tankun's heart. But genuinely believing he is ruining her life, he forces a fake smile, turns his back, and walks away. Completely broken, Tankun vents to Fa at the security booth. Fa is totally baffled, demanding to know why Tankun is intentionally acting like such a heartless jerk by friend-zoning the girl he clearly still loves. Tankun heartbreakingly reveals his agonizing reality. He just wants Sunday to live a normal, perfectly happy life. He is willingly playing the role of the jerk ex, so she will finally hate him, move on, and stop loving him. Tankun knows exactly where he stands. His life is an absolute mess of crushing burdens. His dad is severely paralyzed from the stroke, he is drowning in medical debt, and he works grueling odd jobs just to survive. He is absolutely terrified that if they get back together, his suffocating poverty will completely destroy Sunday's bright future and ruin her happiness forever. A final flashback reveals exactly how their high school relationship fell apart. It started when Tankun's father's stroke severely worsened. Crushed by massive stress and financial terror, Tankun refused to burden Sunday with his problems, choosing to suffer in complete silence. His silence bred distance, and their communication completely broke down. The breaking point arrived when Sunday tried calling him all night, but he completely ignored her because he was busy working. Furious and heartbroken, Sunday felt completely abandoned on their official anniversary. Tankun finally showed up in the middle of the night. A massive, explosive argument erupted. Sunday screamed all her frustrations, making Tankun realize his chaotic life was only making her miserable. To save her from his mess, he made the agonizing decision to officially break up with her right then and there. That night, a sobbing Sunday demanded he never see her again. But before walking away, Tankun made one final unbreakable promise. Even if she didn't want him, he would forever consider her his little sister, vowing to protect her for the rest of his life, no matter what. Understand his true motives. Realizing she desperately needs to move on, she decides the best option is to officially open her heart to Mile. That night, she texts Mile, completely catching him by surprise. She vents all her frustrations about Tankun and explicitly asks Mile to help her forget her ex. Thrilled by the text, Mile happily promises to do exactly that. The next morning, Tankun shows up to pick Sunday up, stubbornly keeping his promise to protect her. But his heart shatters when Mile arrives in his car. Choosing to move on, Sunday rejects Tankun's motorcycle and gets into Mile's car instead. Later, during a campus break, Mile bumps into Tankun. Feeling victorious, Mile arrogantly gloats about winning Sunday's heart that morning, bragging that she chose his luxury car over a cheap motorcycle. After classes end, Tankun stubbornly waits to take her home again. Absolutely fed up, Sunday violently snaps at him. She screams, asking why he keeps acting like her devoted driver if he doesn't actually love her. But Tankun sticks to his painful lie, claiming he is just fulfilling his promise to protect his little sister. Completely sick of the brother-sister excuse, Sunday ruthlessly tells him to disappear from her life forever. That night, Mile surprises Sunday with an incredibly romantic, exclusive dinner at a luxury hotel restaurant. The atmosphere is intimate and perfect. Mile sings a special song dedicated entirely to her. After the performance, he boldly confesses his feelings and officially asks her to be his girlfriend. But suddenly put on the spot, Sunday freezes. Still unsure of her own heart, she begs Mile for a little more time to give him her final answer. The next day, on campus, Tae-kun runs into a solo Sunday and immediately asks where her boyfriend is. Annoyed, Sunday snaps that it's none of his business. Tae-kun desperately argues he has a right to know, as her brother. Right in the middle of their argument, Mile walks up and confidently wraps his arm around Sunday's shoulder. He firmly declares to Tae-kun that they are officially dating. Sunday is completely shocked since she hadn't actually given Mile an answer yet. Mile brutally orders Tae-kun to back off and never bother Sunday again. Hearing those harsh words, a defeated Tae-kun finally accepts he has lost her. He hands over the motorcycle helmet he had always kept for her and walks away. She initially plans to throw it in the trash to erase him completely, but she hesitates and ultimately decides to keep it. Just as Mile demanded, Tae-kun completely vanishes. For the next few days, he completely disappears from her life. Days pass without a single sign of Tae-kun. Unable to lie to her own heart, a worried Sunday asks Fa, the security guard, where he is. Fa reveals that Tae-kun's father's condition drastically worsened and he was rushed back to the hospital. Hearing the devastating news, Sunday immediately rushes to the hospital to visit the old man she deeply cares about. Arriving at the ward, Tae-kun's dad is absolutely thrilled to see her, cracking jokes and filling the room with warm laughter. Tae-kun's dad has absolutely no idea that they broke up. But noticing the suffocating, awkward tension between them, he quickly realizes something is terribly wrong. He nervously asks if this is Sunday's last visit. Sunday warmly promises to keep visiting him for the next few days. When Sunday steps out, the dad and older brother furiously scold Tae-kun for acting so incredibly cold toward her. Tae-kun bitterly claims Sunday doesn't care about him anymore and doesn't love him. But his dad instantly fires back, saying, "You can fool everyone else, Tae-kun, but you absolutely cannot lie to your own heart." Struck by his dad's wise words, Tae-kun immediately runs downstairs, catches up to Sunday, and successfully offers to drive her home. Arriving at the dorm, they run straight into Mile, who has been waiting for Sunday. Seeing them together on the motorcycle, an intensely jealous Mile aggressively demands to know why she is with her ex again. Calmly, Sunday explains the tragic situation about Tae-kun's dad falling and being hospitalized, justifying her visit. A few days later, Tae-kun's dad recovers enough to be discharged. Knowing this will be the absolute last time Sunday comes to visit, the dad gives Tae-kun one final piece of life advice. He tells his son that life is terrifyingly short and unpredictable. He urges Tae-kun to confess his true feelings before it is permanently too late. Shortly after, Sunday arrives to say her final goodbyes and congratulate the dad on his recovery. Meanwhile, Tae-kun heads to the billing department. Staring at the massive crushing medical bill, his poverty violently reminds him why he left her. But remembering his dad's desperate advice, he refuses to live with the regret of losing the love of his life. Before Sunday can leave the hospital, Tae-kun frantically chases after her and tightly grabs her hand. He fiercely declares he will never let her go again. He violently breaks his silence, passionately confessing that he has never stopped loving her for a single second. Pulling her into a desperate hug, he reveals he has been secretly protecting her this entire time, guarding her during orientation, and secretly bringing her safe food at Miles' apartment. Sobbing uncontrollably, Sunday admits this is exactly what she always wanted to hear, and confesses she never actually moved on. But despite still loving him, she is absolutely terrified. The agonizing trauma of him brutally abandoning her the first time completely paralyzed her, and she refuses to risk getting her heart shattered again. With a heavy heart, she tearfully rejects his confession. Right on cue, Mile pulls up to pick her up. To finalize the rejection, Sunday firmly tells Tae-kun that she and Mile are officially dating now. Absolutely crushed, Tae-kun forces a bitter smile and congratulates them. He slowly walks back to his dad's hospital room, violently breaks down crying, and chokes out that he was too late. His dad pulls his broken son into a warm hug, gently whispering, "It's okay, son. When you love someone with all your heart, the pain will always be this devastating. But slowly you will be okay."
ในเมื่อพี่ก็ยังรักเธออยู่
พอเถอะค่ะ
ผมไปช้าเกินไปมันไม่ทันแล้วต้องลงแล้วพี่
ไม่รู้จะตายวันตายพรุ่งนี้ชีวิตคนเราสั้นไม่มีเวลาให้กิน
The next day, Sunday officially dates Mile, but secretly still misses Tae-kun. Mile takes her on a sweet mall date and posts their selfie on Facebook. Suddenly, her brother Sunny calls demanding she come home immediately for an urgent talk. Fearing a misunderstanding, Sunday asks Mile to drop her off early without telling Sunny about him. At the dorm, Sunny immediately confronts her with the selfie Mile posted that morning. He sternly asks if they are dating. Terrified of getting scolded, Sunday lies and denies it. But then Sunny drops a massive, shocking fact. Mile has a secret private Facebook account. On that hidden account, Mile posted intimate vacation photos kissing another woman. And the most mind-blowing part? That woman is the exact same person Mile claimed was his little sister from America. It was all a manipulative lie. She is actually Mile's real long-term girlfriend. Utterly heartbroken and shocked, Sunday holds back her tears. She continues to lie to her brother, too humiliated to admit she was unknowingly made the other woman and completely played by Mile. The second Sunny leaves, Sunday locks herself in her room and bursts into hysterical tears. Her heart is completely shattered. She realizes all her previous suspicions about Mile were true, from the weird story about his sister to her friends questioning if he was actually single. Feeling totally used, she reflexively calls her ex Tankun. Hearing her sobbing uncontrollably, Tankun guesses Mile must have hurt her. Weeping, Sunday cries out, "It's all my fault. I'm sorry, Tankun, for bothering you," and abruptly hangs up. Sunday feels like she is back at zero. Just when she tried to open her heart again, it was cruelly played with. She regrets throwing away Tankun's pure love and thinks her late mother was right. Love only brings suffering. Unable to bear the heavy trauma and depression anymore, she impulsively decides to end her life. Panicking from the abrupt call, Tankun furiously speeds to Sunday's dorm and bangs on her door. Breaking inside, he finds a horrific scene. Sunday is unconscious and foaming at the mouth after swallowing a massive amount of sleeping pills. Everyone in the dorm panics. Tankun immediately scoops her up and rushes her to the hospital. In the ER, doctors quickly pump her stomach. As her vision blurs, she remembers Tankun looking at her with the exact same panicked face in the past. Soon, Sunny arrives at the hospital. Seeing Tankun pacing in the hallway, Sunny angrily drags him out of the ER and punches him hard in the face. He screams, asking why Tankun broke his promise. How many times does he want to see Sunday driven to suicidal depression like this? A flashback finally reveals why Sunday tried to commit suicide right after breaking up with Tankun in high school. Walking home depressed that day, she was almost mugged. When she got home, her alcoholic mother cynically interrogated her for coming home late. Assuming she was with Tankun, her mom yelled at her to stop seeing that worthless street guy with no future. Knowing Sunday was heartbroken, her mom cruelly blamed her instead, saying she deserved it for dating a poor jerk like Tankun. Emotionally exhausted, Sunday just wanted a comforting hug. Instead, she snapped back. "When I actually need you, you never do anything to make me feel better. You just drink all day and never act like a real mother." Furious at the disrespect, her mom slapped her hard. Crying, Sunday screamed, "I hate you!" and ran away from home. Regretting her actions, her mom got heavily drunk. Sunny couldn't find Sunday anywhere. Driven by panic, the drunken mother recklessly drove around the city looking for Sunday, but tragically got into a fatal car crash. Hearing the news, Sunday rushed to the hospital only to find out her mother had died. She collapsed to the floor, hysterically crying and completely blaming herself for the tragedy. The next day, feeling guilty about the breakup, Tankun went to Sunday's school and learned about her mom's death. At the funeral, Sunday cried until nightfall while Tankun watched sadly from a distance, feeling too guilty to approach her. Crushed by the rapid-fire tragedies, getting dumped, fighting with her mom, and her mom dying, a severely depressed Sunday overdosed on sleeping pills in her room. Luckily, Tankun had been secretly guarding her all night, broke in, and saved her life. At the hospital, an enraged Sunny brutally beat Tankun, blaming the breakup for the entire tragedy. Sunny forced Tankun to promise to never see Sunday or make her fall in love with him ever again. And that is the massive secret Tankun has been hiding. He intentionally acted like a jerk and friend-zoned Sunday just to keep his vow to her brother and protect her fragile mental health. Back in the present at the hospital, even though Tankun is completely innocent in the Mile situation, he once again humbles himself and takes the blame in front of Sunny. He admits that all of today's suffering happened because he was too weak, allowing Sunday to fall into the hands of a cheating jerk like Mile. Right after making sure Sunday is safe, a furious Tankun speeds straight to Mile's luxury apartment. He finds Mile busy making out with his real girlfriend. Without hesitation, Tankun kicks the door down and brutally beats Mile to a pulp, making his girlfriend scream in terror. Tankun then violently drags Mile by the collar all the way to the hospital, forcing him to get on his knees and apologize directly to Sunday. Arriving at the hospital, an enraged Sunny is fully prepared to beat Mile up too. Sunday, who has finally woken up from her critical condition, cries and says she deeply regrets being stupid enough to trust Mile. A terrified Mile pathetically tries to explain himself. He claims he genuinely wanted a serious relationship with Sunday at first, explaining he had broken up with his girlfriend when she moved abroad for college. But suddenly, she came back to Thailand, and they secretly got back together. Crying, Mile admits he is a coward, and that he cheated on Sunday. Hearing his cheap excuses, Sunday is completely disgusted, realizing all of his sweet words were nothing but garbage lies. After the confession, Sunny violently drags Mile out into the hallway, making it clear their fistfight is far from over. Next day, Sunday wakes up to find Tankun by her side after watching over her all night. Breaking the silence, Tankun tearfully apologizes for abandoning her when she needed him most. He confesses he only promised her brother to stay away out of pure guilt. When a crying Sundae asks why he broke that promise, Tankun looks deep into her eyes and admits he simply cannot live without her. His love hasn't faded since high school. After a tight emotional hug, they officially get back together. Fast forward, 100 days later, their relationship is stronger and more mature. Tankun arrives to pick her up for the new semester, surprising her with a new matching helmet and a brand new motorcycle. They happily ride off together, perfectly wrapping up this romance. The end. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tune in for the next video.